From the World Series city of Chicago, Illinois, international truck dealers and factory branches from coast to coast again present Leo DeRocher with the IH World Series warm-up. This is Ben Grauer, friends, and we're here with Leo giving you inside series information before every one of these crucial World Series games. Be on top of the action as these great teams continue to battle. Stay tuned to Mr. Baseball, Leo DeRocher, on the IH World Series warm-up. And if you want the right truck for your job, turn in at the IH sign, the sign of international truck dealers and factory branches. Now, Mr. Baseball, Leo DeRocher.
Thank you, Ben. Well, here we are in Chicago, where it didn't look like we were going to arrive at all. But a confident bunch of Chicago ball players made it possible. And believe me, we are looking for a good ball game here today. Manager Al Lopez of the Chicago White Sox has nominated Early Wynn as his starting pitcher. This will be Early's third start in the World Series. And manager Walt Alston has nominated the great left-hander Johnny Padres as his starting pitcher. Johnny will be making his second start in this World Series. The weather is quite cool here today, and naturally there will not be as many people in the Chicago White Sox ballpark as there were in Los Angeles on Tuesday. They broke the all-time World Series record then when 92,706 people saw the fine ball game that was won by the White Sox 1-0. I have never seen a more confident group of ball players that are on this field today than the Chicago White Sox. I recall in the Coliseum on Tuesday, manager Al Lopez said that if he could win this ball game, he was sure that they could go on and win the 2 games in Chicago and become the world's champions. Well, of course, he has his back to the wall, and I believe sincerely that he realizes that. It has only been done a few times where a club has been down 3-1 and come on to win it. Now, the Chicago players feel that being in their own ballpark, which is much bigger than the Coliseum as far as left field is concerned at least, and they will not have those white shirts to contend with, and they can see the ball much better. The sun will not be bothering as much in Chicago. They had a lot of trouble in the Coliseum on Tuesday. And, of course, the players are very confident. And they, as I have talked to some of them, like Jim Rivera said, if we don't win it now, it's our own fault. We are now going back into our own ballpark, and we should win it here. The game on Tuesday was a big ball game for the Chicago White Sox, as all of them are, because they are now in a sudden death playoff. The White Sox cannot afford to lose another ball game, where the Dodgers can afford to at least lose one more and still have a chance to win it all. Let's take a good look at Tuesday's ball game in the Coliseum. Bob Shaw, the fine right-hander of the Chicago White Sox, pitched a beautiful ball game until he tired in the 7th and the 8th inning. And Sandy Koufax, the fine left-hander of the Dodgers. I have never seen Sandy in better form than he was on Tuesday, especially in the first inning. He struck Luis Aparicio out on 3 pitch balls, 2 fastballs and a curve, and I have never seen Koufax faster than he was right at that moment. In the first inning, he was just terrific, and he got the ball where he wanted it, low. Primarily, when Koufax is wild, his ball gets up above the belt and he's high. But on Tuesday, he was keeping the ball low. And in the 3rd and 4th inning, he started to get high, and he looked like he may be gone right there. He started to get behind the hitters. But then all of a sudden, he found himself again. And he just pitched a fine ball game. And Bob Shaw, who pitched a whale of a ball game until he tired in the 8th inning, certainly deserved the victory. It was a tough ball game for Sandy Koufax to lose, and it certainly would have been a tough ball game for Bob Shaw to lose. But that's the way those things happen in baseball. That's why they have relief pitchers on the club, to pick one another up. The White Sox, of course, won the ball game on Tuesday, 1-0, and it was a typical White Sox victory. I remember last summer when they were playing the Kansas City Athletics, they scored 11 runs in 1 inning, and they only got 1 hit in the inning. Now, it's been said all summer long they've been called the Go, Go, Go Club. But the way they've been winning them, and I talked to Bill Veeck, the general manager, about this, and also Al Lopez, whoever the hitter may be walks, and the next batter sacrifices, and then a wild pitch and a sacrifice fly, and there they have one run without getting a hit. And they've been winning a lot of ball games this past summer just that way. And on Tuesday, in the Coliseum, when they got their one run, it was sort of a typical, as I said before, White Sox run. Fox opened the inning with a single in the fourth, and Landis followed with a line drive single to right field to put Fox on third. And there they were with a chance for a big inning with men on first and third and nobody out. But Sherm Lawler, the catcher, hit a routine, easy ground ball for an easy double play, which, of course, gave them the one run. Fox scored the only run in the ball game at that point. And that is when manager Al Lopez made that run stand up with some very fine managerial strategy, believe me. He and Walt Alston played what is known in baseball as a game of chess. Now, in the seventh inning, he inserted Jim Rivera into right field for defensive purposes. He put Esposito on third base for defensive purposes. He put Al Smith from right field into left field. He thought that Al Smith probably could play the screen a little bit better than McEnany. It was just a maneuver that was nothing in his mind but one thing: defend and try to protect that one-run lead. And you all know what happened in the seventh inning with two men on and Rivera in right field. He made a great catch off of the booming bat of Charlie Neal, who hit a tremendous drive into right center. And, of course, this is where Rivera may have had a lot of trouble with the sun, but he was running away from it. The ball was in right center and about to the 415-foot mark in right center, and he caught the ball over his shoulder, running away from the sun. In fact, he said after the ball game that he didn't even flip his glasses down. It was a fine catch and a game saver right at that point for the White Sox. And that brings us to the big eighth inning, where I believe the Dodgers lost the ball game. If you recall, Wally Moon opened up with a routine fly ball to center field, which Jim Landis, the White Sox center field, lost it in the sun. In fact, he commented after the ball game that he never did see the ball after it left the bat until it hit him on the knees and dropped in front of him. And, of course, Wally Moon was credited with a single. Now, Norm Locker, the following batter, tried to sacrifice twice and failed, and then flied to right field to Jim Rivera, making one out. At that point, Gil Hodges singled sharply to center field, sending Wally Moon to third base. Hodges took second on the throw-in. Now, this is where the game of chess started between manager Walt Alston and manager Al Lopez. This is where the managerial strategy was put into this ball game and made it so exciting for the over 92,000 people in the Coliseum. Shaw, who looked to be a little bit tired, may be taken out of the ball game right at this point. Of course, Demeter was the next batter, and Alston made his move right there. He inserted Ron Fairley to hit for Demeter, and when that was announced, manager Lopez come out of the dugout, took Shaw out of the ball game, and brought in Billy Pierce. Now Alston made his move again. He then took Fairley out and replaced him with a right-handed hitting Rip Rapolsky. Now, of course, first base was open. There was only one out, and Lopez knew that he was not going to pitch to Rapolsky. This is just what he wanted to happen. Now, this is when Rapolsky was walked intentionally by Pierce. Now comes the move by manager Walt Alston, because Roseboro, the left-handed hitter, was due to hit next. And Pierce, being a left-handed pitcher, he took Roseboro out and put Ferrillo in to bat for Roseboro. And here come Lopez again. He now takes Billy Pierce out and brings in Dick Donovan to pitch to Ferrillo. Now, at this point, if Snyder had not been used up in the seventh inning, if he'd have been saved for a little later on in the ball game, but that is what the average fan would call second guessing. The manager has one guess and he takes it right quick. And that is where Ferrillo had to stay in there, the old pro, and he popped up, as we all know, to the third baseman, and eventually Dick Donovan got Zimmer on an easy routine fly ball to left field to retire the side and to really take the White Sox out of a big hole. And by the way, I'd like to say hello to the International Harvester family of employees, a great bunch of people who are enjoying the series along with everyone else in the country. Today's pitchers are Wynn and Padres. And, of course, these fellas pitched very little. They only pitched a few innings each in Monday's ball game back at the Coliseum. So there's been some comment, Early Wynn being 39 years old, can he come back with only 2 days rest? Well, I don't think that'll worry Early Wynn too much, and I don't think that'll worry Al Lopez too much, the Chicago White Sox manager. After all, he has 9 other pitchers sitting on the bench. And as we said earlier, this is a sudden death playoff, and if Wynn gets in the least bit of trouble, I'm sure that Lopez will have one of his other pitchers up and throwing in that bullpen right quick. And that also goes for Johnny Padres, the Dodger starter. Manager Walt Alston, of course, can go a little longer with him than Lopez can with his pitcher. But I'm sure if the game is close, that manager Walt Alston won't hesitate one bit to take Padres out of there. Although this gives Johnny Padres the chance to become the winning pitcher for the second time to bring the World's Championship to the Dodgers. And everyone here in Chicago is looking for a real fine ball game. And so, until tomorrow, again maybe, just before the ball game, this is Leo DeRocher saying so long.
The Gillette Cavalcade of Sports is on the air.
To look and feel sharp, take this new Gillette. It's a razor that you quickly set for your beard, your skin. It's up to you. It's adjustable and man, it's new, brand new.
Good afternoon, baseball fans. We're back in Comiskey Park in Chicago for the 6th game of the 1959 World Series between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Chicago White Sox. And this is Byram Saam greeting you for your host, the Gillette Safety Razor Company. Gillette's continuous cavalcade of sports features such outstanding events as the World Series, the Blue-Gray football game, the World's Invitational Match Game Bowling Championships, the Rose Bowl game, the Kentucky Derby, the All-Star Baseball game, and every Friday night, the feature fight of the week. These events are sent your way to show you how much we appreciate your use of Gillette products. And now, before we get into the lineups and a rundown on the pitchers, their records, the color, and the weather, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to bring to the microphone my colleague at this moment for a word, Mel Allen.
Thank you very much, Byram Saam. Ladies and gentlemen, Byram and I and all who are working with us on this series are quite saddened as we come on the air for the 6th game of the World Series. For the sports editor of the National Broadcasting Company, Paul Jonas, who has been seated beside us throughout this series and with whom I have worked on many series and other sports events over the past 20 years, passed away 2 hours after we arrived in Chicago from Los Angeles. He had been sports director for the Mutual Broadcasting System and joined NBC in 1955 as an assistant to sports director Tom Gallery. Funeral services will be held Friday in Greenville, and there's no one in the baseball world or the sports world who is not familiar with a little guy with a big heart that failed him early yesterday morning. We shall always remember him, and proud to have worked with him. And By and I will remember that we did his last broadcast. And now, as the world moves on, here's Byram Saam as we go into the 6th game of the World Series.
All right, Mel, thank you very much.
Well, the big question in Chicago today is, can the White Sox keep their chances alive? That's the big question, and maybe in 2.5 hours from now, we'll know the answer. In the meantime, the Dodgers are hoping to clinch the World's Championship. The weatherman has cooperated. The sun is out right now. There's a wind blowing at about 5 to 8 miles toward left field. We've had a very spirited batting practice and infield drill. And down below us, the two pitchers and two of the best in baseball are tuning up. Across to our right is left-hander Johnny Padres from Witherby, New York. He won one of the earlier games in the World Series, and you'll remember he won the clincher the last time the Dodgers won a World's Championship, for he shut out the Yankees in the 7th game of the 1955 series. Across the way, right-hander Early Wynn will be the hopes of the White Sox. It will be his 3rd starting assignment in this series. Early was a 22-game winner on the season. You'll remember he won the first game 11-0 in a breeze right here in Comiskey Park. He started the 4th game in Los Angeles, but was a victim of some tough breaks and eventually was lifted. Al Lopez has commented right along that Wynn at times is at his best after only 2 days of rest. Johnny Padres at times takes more rest. But it all shapes up as a great 6th game. It appears that we will have another packed house, which means in the neighborhood of 48,000. This could be the final game of the series, and it might not be. We now go into the starting lineups for you. For the Dodgers, Junior Gilliam will lead off at 3rd base. Charlie Neal is hitting number 2 today, 2nd base. Wally Moon, hitting 3rd, is in left. Duke Snyder has been restored to the lineup. He's in center and batting number 4. Gil Hodges will be at 1st base. Norm Locker in right field. Johnny Roseborough will be the catcher. Maury Wills is hitting number 7, number 8 rather, and playing at short. And Johnny Padres on the mound. Johnny, of course, is fast. He's got a great curveball, and I doubt if there's any left-hander in the game that has a better change of pace. The secret of Johnny Padres will be if he's getting his curve and change up low and getting strikes. For the White Sox, Louis Aparicio will lead off at short. Nellie Fox, 2nd base. Jim Landis in center field. Sherman Lawler will bat number 4 and catch. Ted Kluszewski will be at 1st base hitting 5. Al Smith is in left field. Following, Bubba Phillips at 3rd base. Jim McEnany will be in right field batting 8th. And on the mound, the rugged, burly Early Wynn. Manager Walt Alston is trotting back to the dugout, located along the 1st base side. Al Lopez just now moving back toward the home team dugout. The umpires are now spreading out, and here's the way they stack up. At the plate today, it'll be Frank Dascoli of the National League. At first, Ed Hurley of the American League. Frank Sikori will be the arbiter at 2nd of the National League. Bill Summers of the American League at 3rd. John Rice down the left field line. And Hal Dixon will be on the right field line. Manager Alston, who has done such a tremendous job with this Dodger club. A year ago, they finished 7th. He brought them home in the playoff against Milwaukee. And he's playing it very, very coy about tomorrow's pitcher, or even about the pitching later, if there should be a tomorrow. But he does tell us that he has Larry Sherry, Don Drysdale, and Roger Craig all available. Padres was a winning pitcher in his last start here, although he did not finish the game. He had shaky support in the 1st inning. Yet, he was lifted, and the home run ball came into being, and Padres was declared the winner. You might remember, that was the day that Esijan hit 1 and Charlie Neal hit 2. Padres worked 6 innings in that game and gave up 5 hits and 2 runs. Larry Sherry came on to save it for him. Early Wynn breezed home in the 1st game of the World Series. That was just a week ago today. He won it 11-0, although his right elbow started to stiffen up in the 7th inning, and he was taken out. Of course, in the Coliseum, Wynn started. He got through the first 2 innings all right. He had 2 out in the 3rd inning, but then trouble followed. One ball was lost in the outfield, another dribble through the infield, and before you knew it, he was out of the game. The wind is out of the southeast today. The temperature reading in Chicago is 72. It is partly cloudy, and the sun has been out Now it is going behind the clouds again. Yesterday, it was travel day. And, of course, 7 chartered flights brought not only the players, but the officials, the umpires, the TV and radio crews back into Chicago. Just a moment ago, they even have special buses that bring the writers down from the Loop, the LaSalle Hotel headquarters. I understand they broke a record today for one bus got down here in 8 minutes and 50 seconds. The Dodgers are in the driver's seat. They've won 3. They've lost 2. And it's interesting to note, too, that the 2 victories by the White Sox have been shutouts. The more and more that you talk to the writers and you talk to the people that follow this World Series, you are convinced that the game we saw, the last one in Los Angeles, might go down as one of the greatest games ever played in World Series competition. The 1-0 victory for the White Sox. They believe back in their own ballpark they can win it all. And that's the spirit of Al Lopez and his White Sox. Now, the 5th Army color guard has just marched out to the flagpole, which is located straight away in center field. And in just a moment, we will have the national anthem sung by Vivian Del Chiesa, who, incidentally, is one of the famous entertainers in the Loop at the moment, and who, I understand, lives only a short few blocks from Comiskey Park. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we stand for the national anthem.
Miss Vivian Della Chiesa. Can you see by the non-burning light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight landing? Whose rockets and bright stars through the perilous fight, for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rockets red the bombers singing in air, gave through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, may God bless our spangled banner that wave for the land of the free and the
We now pause 10 seconds for station identification.
WGY 810 on your dial and WGFM Schenectady.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a thrill of a lifetime to be broadcasting a World Series. The fellow that I'm working with has made it feel, well, just like home. He's worked more World Series games than any other announcer in the major leagues, and I certainly feel it an extreme pleasure to be with him. Here he is, and ready to go with the first half of the 6th game, Mel Allen.
Hello there, everybody. Thank you very much, Byram Saam. I've certainly enjoyed this series, and we don't know how much more enjoyment we're going to have. We'll know in a few hours. Early Wynn is warming up now with Sherman Lawler as Jim Gilliam stands alongside. Jim Gilliam, who had only 2 hits and 16 times at bat during the series until the last game in Los Angeles, when Jim switched on the White Sox and came up with 4 consecutive base hits before they got him out in the 9th inning. A switch hitter, he bats left-handed. Early Wynn, who has won 271 Major League games regular season, ranking 15th in that respect among the all-time winners, now faces the greatest challenge that he's ever had in a colorful career. Jim Gilliam at bat, and we're all set to go. Early Wynn, the right-hander, into the windup. In comes the first pitch of the ball game, and it's ball one, low outside. Bubba Phillips is shortened up at third for Gilliam, who's a good bunter. He's fast, and every once in a while he'll surprise you with his power. The outfield straight away. Wynn again to the windup. In comes the pitch to Gilliam, and it's over the outside corner for a called strike. 1-1. Gilliam walks out of the batter's box, objecting to the call. Frank Dascoli of the National League umpiring in his third World Series from Danielson, Connecticut. Ed Hurley of the American League at first base from Holyoke, Massachusetts, umpiring in his third World Series. The 1-1 pitch on its way from Early Wynn to Jim Gilliam. The left-hand batter starts to bunt and takes it outside. Ball two. 2 balls, 1 strike. Had Bubba Phillips breaking in from third. Frank Sikori at second base of the National League from Port Huron, Michigan, umpiring in his second World Series. And Bill Summers from Upton, Massachusetts, working his 8th World Series. Now the 2-1 pitch to Jim Gilliam. It's in there, strike 2, 2-2, and the crowd roars. Johnny Rice of Chicago of the American League working the left field foul line, his first series, and Hal Dixon from St. Petersburg, Florida, the National League, umpiring down the right field foul line. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Jim Gilliam. Wynn to the windup. Around comes the right arm. Here's the pitch. Gilliam takes strike 3 call over the outside corner. One away. And here's Charlie Neal, who in his last appearance in Comiskey Park belted 2 homers to lead the Dodgers to a 4-3 win over the White Sox. Gilliam, before going out, had 6 for 21 for .286 average in the series. Neal has had 7 for 22, batting .318. He's not a big fellow, but has good power, good wrist action, a right-hand batter. Early Wynn's delivery, curveball over, strike 1. Neal stands deep in the batter's box, in close to the plate, feet spread. Down on the end of that bat. Phillips guarding the third baseline. A lot of room in right center in the outfield. Here's the pitch, high and inside, and the count's 1-1. Backed him away a bit. Al Smith is in left field. Jim Landis in center. Jim McInerney in right. Neal hit a tremendous drive to right center at the Coliseum in the last game played. Jim Rivera making that great clutch catch. The 1-1 pitch. He started to swing and held off at a high delivery, and it's ball 2, 2-1. Wynn is one of the few pitchers who is successful with a high fastball. Generally, you try to keep it low. He throws every pitch in the book and changes up on almost every one of them. Throws a knuckler every once in a while. Here's the 2-1 delivery now to Neal. Swings and loops it over short into short center for a base hit. Jim Landis charges the ball up with it. Neal rounds first, holds up. The throw comes into Aparicio, and Charlie Neal loops a single to center, getting his 8th hit, tying Nellie Fox for most hits in the series. Now Wally Moon, who has had 5 for 19, hitting .263 in the series, with Duke Snyder on deck. 1 on and 1 out in the first of the first. The outfield plays Moon straight away. He hits to all fields. Got good power at all fields. Aparicio shades him well over towards second in a couple of steps. Fox in a couple of steps. Aparicio and Fox a double play depth. Wynn to the stretch, a check to the runner. And the pitch. It's in there for a strike. 0-1. Charlie Neal's a good base runner, too. He stole 17 bases during the year. Sometimes some fellows don't steal too often, but still are good base runners. Joe DiMaggio, for example, never stole many bases, but was one of the greatest base runners the game's ever known, taking that extra base. Wynn to the stretch, Neal with the lead. Here's the pitch, and it's inside and high for a ball, 1-1. Pee Wee Reese coaching at third, Greg Malavy at first. And the game begins, of course, with tremendous tension as always, exists when a sudden death situation exists. A win for the Dodgers, it's all over. The White Sox trying to send it into tomorrow. Win again to the stretch. Charlie Neal leads away from first. And the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 2. 1-2. Early Wynn, a native of Hartford, Alabama, who now resides in Nokomis, Florida. A great performer. Had a record of 22-10 this year. 271 wins, 213 losses in his regular season Major League career. Again, Neal with the lead, the stretch. And the pitch to Moon, swung on. It's a high fly ball in the center. Under it is Jim Landis. Slaps the glove, backs up a step, makes the catch. And Neal retreats to first, and they're 2 away. And now coming to bat is Duke Snyder, who played in the first 2 games, and then a chronic knee, a knee that has been ailing him quite a long time, bothered him. He couldn't play. He used as a pinch hitter. But the rest has enabled him to get back in action. Always a real dangerous man. Holder of many World Series records. Left-hand hitter. Good power man, remember. The stretch. Check to the runner. The pitch is just outside for a ball. With 2 outs and a runner on first. No score. First half of the first inning. A steal situation, remember, is present. Something to look for, whether or not it is ordered by Walt Alston. Again, the stretch by Wynn. Charlie Neal with the lead. Aparicio looks at Neal. The pitch is swung on and missed for strike. He took a wicked cut. Early Wynn gave him a big motion, took a little bit off his fastball. It's interesting to watch as Aparicio, who is shaded over near second. Fox is very deep for Snyder, halfway between first and second. Aparicio would have to take the throw in the event of an attempted steal. And he takes a look over at Neal. There's a throw over to first, and Neal dives back safely. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 outs, first half of the first inning. Went into the stretch. Neal with a good lead. Look over the left shoulder. And the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 2. He hit him with a high fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Duke was slashing for the seats. The outfield shaded a little toward right. Not too extreme. Inasmuch as Snyder, every once in a while, will hit an outside pitch. He'll go with the pitch and has good power to left center. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Of course, he's primarily a power pull hitter. Again, the stretch by Wynn. Neal with a good lead. There he goes. The pitch is, and he bluffed a dash and goes back to first, and the pitch was taken. 2-2. Man, how about that? He really made about 4 steps, and now Ed Hurley comes over to smooth out the infield where Neal dug the dirt pretty deeply when he slammed on the brakes.
Well, I thought he was off. He was about a third of the way to second base. But you never know, and of course, Charlie is one of the outstanding base stealers in the National League.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Base runner can really worry a pitcher. The stretch by Wynn. Neal with a good lead, inches off further. The pitch is inside around the knees. Ball 3, full count. And now Neal will be going. Full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs, first half of the first inning. On deck is Gil Hodges. Wynn kicks the dirt out in front of the rubber. Duke Snyder standing in close to the plate. Again, the stretch by Wynn. Neal with his lead. A look over by Hurley. There goes the runner. The pitch is high for ball 4. And Neal moves on to second. And the batter is Gil Hodges, who has been a thorn in the side of the White Sox with his clutch hitting. He's had 8 hits. When I said a moment ago that Neal's single gave him 8 hits to time with Fox, I should have also added Hodges' name in there. Gil at the moment is the leading hitter in the series, average-wise, 444, 8 for 18. Right-hand batter. Charlie Neal on second, Duke Snyder on first, and 2 outs in the first inning. Early win into the stretch. Here's the pitch, and it's swung on, grounded to third. Up with it is the third baseman, Phillips, over to Fox as he made a one-hand pickup of the ball to take a base hit away from Gil Hodges, and the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 men left on. At the end of the first half of the first inning, the Dodgers nothing, the White Sox coming to bat. Last half of the first inning, Louis Aparicio, Nelson Fox, and Jim Landis will be the first 3 batters. For a fraction there on Hodges' ball, it was hit to the left of the third baseman, Bubba Phillips, and we had to wait to see whether he was going to come up with it or not. He broke to his left and scooped with the gloved hand, came up with it, and flipped over to Fox. Johnny Padres, a brilliant left-hander who worked in Game 2 and beat the White Sox here by a score of 4-3. Worked 6 innings, gave up 5 hits and 2 runs, and Larry Sherry came on in the 7th and protected the lead. Johnny's the only Dodger pitcher in history to have won 3 World Series games. He delivers, and it's in there for a strike to Aparicio. Johnny Padres from Witherby, New York, who won 2 games in the 55 World Series. The pitch to Louis is swung on and fouled back out of play. He won the final game of the 55 World Series to give the Dodgers their only World Series title. And this is the 10th series in which they've competed. Here's the pitch to Aparicio. Swung on, a ground ball hit to second to Neal. He's up with it, throws on to Hodges, and there's 1 away. Aparicio grounding out second to first. Louis had 7 hits and 21 times at bat previously for a .333 average. And here is Nelson Fox, 8 for 20, hitting .400 in the series. Nelson Fox, a self-made ball player if I ever saw one. He worked hard to make the grade. Left-hand batter, takes a curve inside for a ball. Fox, 5'9", 162 pounds. 32 years old, from St. Thomas, Pennsylvania. Padres delivers, swung on, looped over short to left field. Coming fast is Larker, and he makes the catch, or Wally Moon to make the catch for the out. Nelson Fox lines to left. And now here is Jim Landis. He's had 6 for 21, batting .286 in the series. Wally Moon's in left field and Larker in right today. Padres, who features a beautiful slow curve, delivers now. It's swung on. Little roller down the third baseline. Padres up the ball. Fires to first base. Too late. Base hit. Jim Landis' speed enabling to beat out a top roller down the third baseline. Padres hustled over and grabbed the ball, but could not get his throw over in time. And now Sherman Lawler, who's had 5 for 19, hitting .263 in the series. Again, we have a steal situation present with 2 outs. And these are both running teams. Landis stole 20 bases during the regular season. But the Dodgers have learned to reckon with the great throwing arm of Johnny Roseboro. The White Sox have learned to reckon with Roseboro's great throwing arm. Outfield around to the left. No score, first inning, 2 outs. The pitch to Lawler, inside, ball 1. If you look from home plate right over second base into center, is a clean shot. Snyder playing way over in the left center, and Larker way over toward right center. Here's the delivery. Swung on, a ground ball to short. Wills up with it, flips to Neal, forcing Landis, and the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on. At the end of the first inning, the score, Dodgers nothing, White Sox nothing.
Just twist that dial and you're all set with the adjustable razor by Gillette. For shave so easy, fast and clean. So try it and see what we mean.
Norm Larker will lead off for the Dodgers. Johnny Roseboro on deck. and Maury Wills to follow.
Batting in the sixth position for Los Angeles, number 5, the right fielder, Norm Larker.
Larker has had 2 for 15 in the series, left-hand batter. Outfield playing him straight away. Right-hander Early Wynn swings to the windup. Round comes the right arm. In comes the pitch. Ball 1. Curveball is outside. The wind is blowing toward the left and blowing out a bit, favoring the hitters. The 1-0 pitch. Swung on and fouled off to the left of the plate. Strike 1, 1-1. The Dodgers leading in games 3-2. Once again, the White Sox seeking to keep it alive. The Dodgers seeking to end it all. The 1-1 pitch from Early Wynn to the left-hand hitter. High outside, ball 2, 2-1. Early Wynn started in organized baseball back in 1937. The 2-1 pitch. It's high, ball 3, 3-1. Wynn kicks the dirt a little bit. Control deserting him for the moment. Trying to measure every pitch, of course. 3 balls, 1 strike on Norm Larker. And the 3-1 delivery to the left-hand batter is high outside, ball 4, and Larker walks. That's the second pass Wynn has issued. And it brings to the plate Johnny Roseboro, who's had 2 hits and 17 times at bat, but has distinguished himself tremendously with the way he's handled the Dodger pitchers and the White Sox base runners. Always a dangerous man, though. Outfield shades him just a little toward right, almost straight away. Wynn checks the runner. Here's the pitch to Roseboro, and it's high, ball 1. Al Lopez standing up at the right-hand corner of the White Sox dugout. Reaches out and gets a little dirt and looks toward his bullpen. Watching Wynn very carefully. 1 ball, no strikes. Larker leads away from first. Wynn to the stretch, checks the runner. Here's the pitch to Roseboro, swung on. It's a high fly ball along the right field line. Jim McInerney moves in under it, waiting, and makes the catch. Larker retreats to first. Now Maury Wills comes up. Switch hitter who will bat left-handed against Early Wynn. Has had 4 for 16.
In the 8th position, number 30, the shortstop, Maury Wills.
Landis is shading Wills just a touch to left center, while Al Smith is well over toward the left field line, and McInerney almost straight away right. Stretch by Early Wynn. Larker with his lead. The pitch to Maury Wills. Swung on, little roller. Fox will have to hurry. He's up with it, throws to Kluszewski in time as Larker moves on to second. Maury Wills hit a slow grounder, which Fox had to move in for at the edge of the infield grass almost. No chance to get the front runner. And so the Dodgers have a runner in scoring position with Johnny Padres coming up. A good hitting pitcher. Padres hit .246 during the regular season. And he had 1 hit in the second game of the series, which he worked. Talking to him before the game at batting practice, says he always has been a pretty good hitter. 2 down, left-hand batter. The pitch is high, ball 1. In fact, he said, had I not gone in to run in the 8th inning of the last game played in Los Angeles, he said, I would have pinch hit in place of Sherry in the last of the 8th. Larker leading away from second. Wynn to the stretch. A look around the runner. Here's the pitch, and Johnny Padres swings and sends a high fly ball to right center. And Jim Landis is calling for it. He's under it and makes the catch. And the side is retired. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left on. And at the end of an inning and a half, the score, Dodgers nothing, White Sox nothing. The big news, of course, in the last game at Los Angeles, not only a World Series record crowd, but the last half of the 8th inning, one of the greatest half innings ever played for sheer drama in World Series history, made big news. And the biggest news in shaving is, of course, the Gillette 195 adjustable razor. It's setting sales records everywhere. And here's the one big reason. Without a doubt, this new razor gives you the most comfortable shaves possible. Why? Because the Gillette Adjustable lets you dial the kind of shave you want. You see, there's an adjusting collar on the handle that you can set to any one of 9 different degrees of edge exposure or angle. A turn to the left gives you less blade edge. Turn the dial to the right and more blade edge is exposed. Men with light beards, heavy beards, tender skin, any combination in the book are guaranteed clean, long-lasting shaves. Comfort they may never have thought possible, and that's guaranteed, positively. So get your Gillette Adjustable Razor, complete with a dispenser of Gillette Blue Blades and travel case for only $1.95. Last half of the second inning. No extra charge for the musical background, as we have the serenading musicians moving through the stands. No score. The White Sox coming to bat.
Batting in the 5th position for the White Sox, number 8. The first baseman, Ted Kluszewski.
Here's Ted Kluszewski. Big Clue, left-hand hitter. Al Smith on deck. The pitch from Padres is low for a ball. Next delivery swung on and fouled back. The count's 1-1. Ted Kluszewski, who's had 7 hits in the series and 19 at-bats, charged at-bats for a .368 average. Smith on deck and Phillips to follow. Johnny Padres' pitch swung on, a ground ball hit to second on one hop to Charlie Neal. The throw to Hodges, and Kluszewski is retired. That brings up the right-handed hitting Al Smith, who's had 5 for 18, batting .278.
Number 16, the left fielder, Al Smith.
The outfield plays him way around toward left, gives him plenty of right center. Moon in left, Snyder in center, and Larker in right. Johnny Padres' pitch, high outside, ball 1. Johnny gives you plenty of motion. Features a beautiful slow curve. And he's more than sneaky fast. The 1-0 pitch is inside for a ball. Two balls, no strikes. Johnny Padres, seeking to win the Dodgers' second world's title, pitches, and it's high. Ball 3. A 3-0 count. Johnny worked in the 53 and 55 series. Next pitch, fastball is inside. Ball 4, and Al Smith walks. That brings to the plate Bubba Phillips,
Batting in the 7th position,
who's had 2 for 6.
the third baseman, Bubba Phillips.
Stocky right-hand hitter from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. A little All-America halfback from Mississippi Southern. He's fast. Smitty with the lead. The pitch swung on, hit to the box. Padres has it, throws down to Neal for 1. Back on to first. Double play. Padres to Neal to Hodges. No runs, no hits, no errors, and no one left on. At the end of 2 innings, the score, Dodgers nothing, White Sox nothing.
Now, with the miracle of guided medicine, you can relieve your cough as easily as you relieve a headache. Take Thorexin, the guided cough medicine that goes to the right spot, your cough control center. Doctors know coughing is not controlled in the throat. Your throat merely follows orders from the cough control center, which sends the message, and you cough. Now, ordinary cough syrups don't even touch the cough center. Until now, only cough medicines with narcotics could depress this cough center. But narcotics may leave undesirable side effects. Instead of narcotics, Thorexin contains dimethorphan. Thorexin soothes your throat, Then speed through your bloodstream directly to the cough control center. Thorexin relieves coughing like aspirin relieves headaches. Fast, sure, safe for the whole family. So get Thorexin, the guided cough medicine.
In the third inning, it'll be the top of the Dodger order: Jim Gilliam, Charlie Neal, and Wally Moon. The Dodgers have been a fantastic team. They finished 7th last year and won the pennant. And the only two other clubs ever to win the pennant after a 7th place finish were the 1926 Yankees and the 1946 Red Sox, both of whom, though, went on to lose the series. Wynn pitches to Gilliam, who swings and fouls it off back of third. Strike one. Gilliam, a switch hitter, batting left-handed against Early Wynn. Took a third strike in the first inning. Wynn started off sharply and then began to lose his control touch just slightly, getting in a little hot water. The right-hander to the windup. Here's the pitch to Gilliam, and it's high for a ball. Early seems to be having trouble getting his pitches down. That's where his wildness is, for the most part. 1 ball, 1 strike. Outfield straight away for Gilliam. Phillips shortened up at third. Wynn slowly swings to the windup. Around comes the right arm. In comes the pitch. And it's ball 2. It's low. 2-1. The wind springs up, blowing out toward left, becoming overcast again. Rain is predicted, but according to the weathermen, after the ball game. Here's the 2-1 pitch now to Jim Gilliam. Swings and lifts a foul out of play back of third. Count is 2-2. The distances here down each foul line, remember, are 352 feet. And the distances are identical on either side of straightaway center. 375 in left center, 375 in right center, and 415 straightaway. Oddly, in this series, no starting pitcher has gone the distance. There's never been a series with that situation in which no pitcher has turned in a complete game. In fact, no team has ever won a World Series without a pitcher going the distance. Here's the pitch again, swung on, hit down the left field line. Al Smith digs over and makes the catch near the line. Jim Gilliam rode the outside pitch 3/4 of the way out down the left field line. Al Smith raced over and grabbed it. 1 down, and here's Charlie Neal, who singled to center in the first inning. One of the best second basemen in the business. We got 2 of the best out here today, in Fox and Neal, and in Aparicio and Wills at short. Wynn to the windup again. Here's the pitch to Neal. Outside, ball 1. Charlie Neal, a native of Longview, Texas, resides in Compton, California now. 5'10", weighs 160. Wynn's pitch. It's in there for a strike. Got that breaking pitch over the outside corner that time. 1-1. Wynn's been having a little difficulty zeroing in. No score, third inning. 1 out, nobody on. Now the 1-1 pitch on its way to the right-hand batter. Charlie Neal swings and misses. He took a wicked cut at a slider, I would guess that was. It was delivered with a fastball motion, but it moved away from him. 1-2. Once again, Wynn goes into the slow windup. Around comes the right arm. In comes the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Boy, that pitch had something on it. From way up top here, it looked as if it dipped on him in sinker fashion. Now here's Wally Moon, who flied to center in the first inning, left-hand batter. I think that was the hardest pitch that Wynn has thrown so far. Early to the windup, around comes the right arm. Here's the delivery, and it's over the outside corner. Strike 1. 0-1. Outfield straight away for Wally Moon. Went to Texas A&M. Here's the next pitch, and Moon takes it outside. Ball 1. 1-1. He had a tremendous year for the Dodgers. Started his major league career with the Cardinals. One of the best deals the Dodgers have made in recent years. Sun back out, and the 1-1 pitch to Wally Moon is inside. Ball 2. 2-1. One thing about Early Wynn, he won't give in to a hitter, as they say in the dugouts. If he runs the count out to 3-2, for example, he'll still try to make you bite at a badman. The 2-1 delivery. It's outside. Ball 3. 3-1. Wynn was around the plate. Perhaps a speck outside or just a little low. A 3-1 count now on Wally Moon. Duke Snyder on deck. Jim Landis, who was straight away from Moon, now shifts a step or two toward right center as the count favors the batter. And the 3-1 pitch to Moon. Ball 4, it's high. And Wynn issues his third pass. And that brings to the plate Duke Snyder, who came up in the first inning with 2 outs, and Neal aboard. Comes up here in the third inning with 2 outs and Moon aboard. We've had a lot of steal situations, while none yet have been attempted. We'll be on the alert for it. Wally Moon has his lead. An easy toss over by Early Wynn. Moon's back. Moon stole 15 bases on the season. Good base runner. Good speed. Stretch by Wynn. Check of the runner. And the pitch to Snyder. It's low and inside. Ball 1. Al Lopez once again is off the bench and with his foot on the top step of the White Sox dugout. One ball, no strikes. 2 outs. Wally Moon leading away from first base. No score, third inning. Wynn delivers now to Snyder, who swings and misses. 1-1. He was uppercutting that pitch, trying to give it a long ride. A 1-1 count on Snyder. In the 2 previous games in which Wynn appeared, he worked a total of 9 2/3 innings and walked only 1 man altogether. He's walked 3 so far in this game. One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Wally Moon on first base. Sun's disappeared again. There he goes. The pitch is swung on, hit high and deep to left center. And that ball is way out there, going, gone into the left center field stands for a home run for Duke Snyder. He hit it the opposite way, close to 400 feet into the left center field lower stands. And the Dodgers lead 2-0.
Number 14.
Duke Snyder coming through with his 11th World Series home run. He held the record for most home runs in World Series play by a National League player before. That was 10. And now he has 11, which ties him with Mickey Mantle for second place. Babe Ruth leads with 15 for World Series play. 2-0 Dodgers, and here's Gil Hodges, right-hand batter. The pitch outside for a ball. And as we told you in the first inning, when Snyder was up and Wynn was trying to pitch away from him and finally walked him, that he had good power to left center, though he was a great pull hitter. He socked that one. Now the pitch to Hodges. It's over the outside corner for a strike. 1-1. And the Dodgers suddenly catapult into the lead on Duke Snyder's long drive to left center into the lower stands. Off to the right of the 375-foot mark, close to 400 feet. Scoring Moon ahead of him. The pitch to Hodges, high and inside. 2-1 as he hit the ground. 2 balls, 1 strike. Snyder has driven in 26 World Series runs. And that's a new National League record. Gil Hodges at bat. Larker on deck. 2 outs, 2 in. The 2-1 pitch to Hodges. Swung on. It's a high pop-up toward first. Klazuski's under, and then Fox calls for it. Fox waiting and makes the catch. And the side's retired. 2 runs, 1 hit. No errors, and no one left on. At the end of 2.5 innings of play, the score, Dodgers 2, White Sox nothing. I'll bet at least 4 or 5 times as many people had to be turned away today because there just weren't enough World Series tickets to go around. 4 or 5 times as many as got in. And just like those fans, there were any number of shavers disappointed when we first introduced the Gillette 195 adjustable razor. Store after store sold out in no time. And even today, we just can't seem to keep up with the demand. Why such a big call for the Gillette adjustable? Because it's the only razor with a micrometer dial that allows you 9 different degrees of edge exposure and edge angle. Each setting is marked. Turn to the lower numbers, it exposes less blade edge. As you dial towards 9, the blade angle and exposure increase. You get quick, easy shaves no matter what your skin and beard because there's a setting just right for you. And how's this for convenience? Made in one piece, you change blades and rinse the razor clean in a flash. Economical? Just $1.95 gets the amazing new Gillette adjustable razor, dispenser of Gillette Blue Blades and travel case at a store near you. 2-0 Dodgers, last of the third. Jim McInerney hitting 8th in the order. A right-hand batter takes inside. Ball 1 from Johnny Padres. Early wind to follow. And then leadoff man Louis Aparicio. Duke Snyder with a tremendous blast to left center, putting the Dodgers out in front. Padres pitches over the inside corner for a strike, 1-1. Fastball. The brilliant southpaw from Witherby, New York. Goes to the windup. In comes the pitch. McInerney takes it over the outside corner for a strike, 1-2. A 1-2 count. And the delivery. Swung on and fouled off to the right of the plate, out of play. Hodges and Roseboro go after it. It falls in behind the Dodger dugout, located back of first base. Padres in 3 previous World Series, or in 4 previous World Series games, has the amazing earned run average of 1.69. The pitch to McInerney is low and inside, and the count is 2-2. Jim McInerney, the only baseball player in organized ball last year with Colorado Springs who hit 400. The 2-2 pitch. Swung on, say pop-up off the handle to Charlie Neal. The second baseman backs out on the grass and makes the catch. 1 down. Early wind coming out of the dugout.
Batting in the 9th position, number 24. The pitcher, early wind.
Wynn walking slowly up to the plate. Switch hitter, he bats right-handed against left-handed pitching. Johnny Padres trying for his 3rd complete game in series competition. Into the windup, in comes the pitch, and it's inside, ball 1. Johnny gets a sign from Roseboro. He's working rapidly. The next pitch is over. Strike 1, 1-1. Mixing up his curveballs, fastballs beautifully. Working his change of pace nicely. The 1-1 delivery now. He starts the windup and stops. Nobody on base, doesn't matter. Looks for the sign again. Now he's ready. Here's the pitch to Wynn. Fastball is high, and the count is 2-1. 2-0 favor the Dodgers. It's the last half of the third. Now the 2-1 pitch. Swung on, hit foul back to first into the upper deck, and the count is 2-2. The 2-2 pitch to Wynn. Swung on and missed. Strike 3 as his bat flew out of his hands over toward Louis Aparicio, who was on deck. Early Wynn strikes out on a beautiful change of pace. Now Louis Aparicio grounded out to second in the first inning. Padres delivers to the right-hand batter who swings and grounds it to short. Maury Wills scoops it up, throws on to Hodges, and Aparicio is retired. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on. The White Sox go out in order. At the end of the third inning, the score, Dodgers 2, White Sox nothing.
Look sharp, feel sharp, be sharp and listen, mister. How you fixed for blades? Do you have plenty? How are you fixed for blades? You better check. Please make sure you have enough, cause a worn out blade makes shaving mighty tough. How are you fixed for blades? Better look, Gillette Blue Blades I need.
We now pause 30 seconds for station identification.
World Series time, party time, or any time your thirst demands bright, refreshing satisfaction. Treat yourself to genuine Saratoga Vichy. Enjoy its extra dry flavor and sparkling tang now.
Saratoga Vichy,
Yellow label,
Saratoga Vichy,
yellow label.
Saratoga Vichy.
WGY, WGFM Schenectady. Sacrifice a little time to save. Save money at Troy's Savings Bank, where deposits made before October 15th earn a big 3.25% from October the 1st.
Norm Larker leads off for the Dodgers in the first of the fourth. Johnny Roseborough on deck and Maury Wills to follow. 2-0 Dodgers, fourth inning on Duke Snider's 2-run homer in the third. Early Wynn to the windup. The pitch swung on, lined out over second into center for a base hit. Jim Landis moves in on the ball, up with it. Larker takes the turn, holds up as the throw comes into Fox. Larker singles to center to open the fourth. And with that, a signal goes out to the White Sox bullpen as Johnny Roseborough comes up. Fly to right field in the second inning.
Los Angeles, number 2,
Don Demeter has gone in to run for Norm Larker. Demeter running for Larker. Here's Johnny Roseborough up. Demeter with the lead. Wynn checks the runner. And the pitch to Roseborough is bunted. Wynn goes over. Up for the ball, tosses to Kluszewski. In time to get Roseborough as Demeter is advanced to second. Roseborough sacrifices, is out. Wynn to Kluszewski. Demeter running for Larker. Moves on to second and brings to the plate Maury Wills. Wills grounded out in the second inning to Nelson Fox. The switch hitter batting left-handed against Wynn. Bubba Phillips shortened up at third. Wynn into the stretch. A look around at Demeter. Here's the pitch to Wills. Swung on it, missed. Strike one. 0-1. Johnny Padres is the next batter. Crowd, of course, very quiet. Early Wynn to the stretch. A look back at Demeter leading off second. The pitch is swung on, hit back through the middle, out over second into center. Here's Demeter rounding third. Racing home. The ball is bobbled momentarily by Landis, but Wills holds it first. And it's 3-0 in favor of the Dodgers. Fox throws the ball over to Phillips, who steps on third, claiming that Demeter failed to tag third, but Bill Summers says yes, he did. Wills singles to center, scoring Don Demeter, and the Dodgers have forged ahead 3-0, which means the White Sox need 4 should the Dodgers be limited in scoring to the 3 runs they now have. Early Wynn ready to pitch to Johnny Padres, who flied to right center in the second inning. Duke Snider's sudden outburst of power in the third inning with 2 outs, and Moon, who had walked on first, put the Dodgers out in front 2-0. Fourth inning, 1 out. Wills on first. There he goes. The pitch is swung on and hit deep to center. There goes Landis back. That ball is way back and over his head, and Wills round second. heads for third. He'll come on in to score as he rounds third. The relay in Aparicio into the plate, not in time. A double for Johnny Padres, who belted one over the head of center fielder Jim Landis, and Al Lopez is out of the dugout. As we had occasion to remind you in the second inning, Padres is a good hitting pitcher, and he teed off and belted one to deep center, some 400 feet away over the head of Jim Landis, and that'll be all for Early Wynn. Padres doubles to center, scoring the fleet Maury Wills, and Early Wynn leaves. After having worked 3 1/3 innings, giving up 5 hits, he walked 3 men and struck out 2 and has been charged with 4 runs. And Dick Donovan will be coming on. Dick Donovan, who was heroic in losing on Sunday, and even more heroic in the last game played at Los Angeles, when he came on the 8th inning with the bases loaded and 1 out, and the White Sox battling to stay alive in the series and leading by just 1 run, and kept the Dodgers from scoring. And so the Dodgers have jumped out to a big lead, 4-0, in the 6th game of the World Series, and they need but 1 win to wrap it up. And it was Johnny Padres, you remember, who won the 7th game of a World Series to give the Dodgers their only win in 9 previous World Series, when he shut the Yankees out.
Wynn was very dejected. He was really mad as he left that mound. But Donovan, of course, has been very strong, not only as a starter, but a reliever as well. And it's well to remember, too, Mel, that in the 4th game, the White Sox were down in that one, too, by 4-0, and then came on to tie it up later in the ball game. That was the one that Hodges eventually won 5-4. All right, we're ready to go. Back to Mel.
Jim Gilliam took a 3rd strike and flied to left. Johnny Padres on second base, 1 out. 2 runs in, 4-0 in favor of the Dodgers. More action in the White Sox bullpen. Right now, right-hander Dick Donovan's delivery is low and inside, ball 1. Donovan has pitched 8 1/3 innings in this series, allowed just 2 hits and 2 runs. The right-hander all set. In comes the pitch to Gilliam, and it's inside and low, ball 2. Turk Lown warming up for the White Sox. Jim Gilliam at bat, Charlie Neal on deck. Johnny Padres on second. 2 runs in the 4th inning. Dodgers leading 4-0. Donovan sets. Here's the pitch. Low and inside, ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. Donovan, who had walked only 2 men in his previous 8 1/3 innings of pitching, has fallen behind on Gilliam. 3 balls, no strikes. Day before yesterday, he was able to put the ball just exactly where he wanted to. The 3-0 delivery, and it's low and inside for ball 4, and Gilliam walks. The 4th pass issued by the White Sox.
Number 43.
Here's Charlie Neal, who singled to center and struck out. Padres on second. Gilliam on first. 1 out. Charlie Neal, the batter, right-hand hitter. Donovan's delivery, high and inside, ball 1. The Dodgers applying the pressure. Donovan looks in, gets his sign from Lawler. Padres moves off second. Gilliam off first. The right-hander delivers. Charlie Neal swings and sends a drive into right center field, and that one is in between them. Padres rounds third to score. Gilliam heading for third. He rounds it to score. And stopping at second is Charlie Neal with a 2-run double, and the Dodgers have moved way out in front. 4 runs in this inning, and it's 6-0 in favor of the Dodgers. With 5 of the runs that they've scored being charged to win. 1 so far to Donovan, Gilliam, whom he walked. And here's Wally Moon, who flied to center and walked. Donovan's delivery to the left-hand batter swung on. There's a high drive to deep right, way back out there, and the ball is going down. A home run into the right center field stands. Wally Moon belts one into the lower right center field stand, scoring Neal ahead of him. And the Dodgers have come up with a 6-run fourth inning, and there is only one out. And Al Lopez comes out of the White Sox dugout. Dick Donovan, who had been so tremendous in 2 previous games, is belted in a hurry by the Dodgers. And Wally Moon, who goes to the Dodger dugout after completing the circuit of the bases, is mobbed by his teammates. And the White Sox, who had a 7-run inning in the first game of this series, now find the Dodgers needing just 1 game to wrap up the title, blasting their way to 6 runs here in the first half of the 4th inning to lead 8-0. And Wally Moon blasted one high and deep to right center for the second home run of the ball game. Snyder started them off with a homer in the 4th. That was Wally Moon's first series homer. And this has been an awesome display of power by the Dodgers.
Well, you're absolutely right. Of course, Wally Moon, you can't sell short. While he is not known as a home run hitter, in a strict term, he can really hit the ball out of the park on occasion. He's had a great season. I know he was thrilled to death to be in the World Series. He formerly came, as you know, from the Cardinals. Makes his home down in a little community known as Bryan, Texas. But I understand he likes Southern California so much that he's going to move to L.A. right after the series. Of course, the White Sox fans, and this is a partisan crowd here in Chicago, they can hardly believe it. They were expecting so much. Of course, the game is not over. I understand, too, Mel, that this is the largest total of runs ever scored by a Dodger team in 1 inning in World Series competition. They're rocking and socking those White Sox pitchers, and now Lown is about ready to go. We're continuing on, you know, and in the top half of the 4th inning.
Duke Snyder walked and homered. And Turk Lown follows Dick Donovan, who pitched the 3 hitters, gave up a walk, a double, and a homer. 6 runs in, 8-0 Dodgers. Snyder swings and bounces it down to first to Kluszewski, who outruns Snyder to the bag, and there are 2 away. And that brings to the plate Gil Hodges, who grounded to third and popped to second. This sort of reminds me of a previous World Series in which the Dodgers were on the other side in 1956, with the Yankees leading in games 3-2. The Dodgers beat the Yankees 1-0 in a great 10-inning game, only to have the Yankees come back in the 7th game and beat the Dodgers 9-0. And we had a 1-0 game to keep the series alive in Los Angeles. The Dodgers lead here now 8-0. Gil Hodges takes a ball high and away. Hodges, a right-hand hitter. Turk Lown to the windup and the pitch. Swung on, little roller, hit by the mound. Aparicio charges, barehands the ball, throws to first and away as Kluszewski could not hold the ball, and Hodges rounds first and goes on to second. It's a single for Gil Hodges. They credit him with an infield hit and an error on the throw. There's a beautiful play by Aparicio as he barehanded the ball, running at top speed, and threw off balance to the inside of the bag, and Kluszewski, attempting to backhand it, couldn't grab it. Hodges moves on to second. And here is Don Demeter, who went in to run for Norm Larker when the inning began. So he was a pinch runner, and now he comes up to take a turn at bat, being the 10th man to come up for the Dodgers here in the 6th inning as they lead 8-0. 6 runs in this inning, 2 out. The pitch is hit by the mound out to second. Fox up with it, throws on to Kluszewski, and the side is retired. And so the Dodgers enjoy their biggest inning in their World Series history. 6 runs, 6 hits, 1 error for the White Sox, and 1 Dodger left on. At the end of 3.5 innings, the score, Dodgers 8, White Sox nothing. Well, sir, there was a wild 4th inning. The Dodgers scoring 6 and the White Sox 3. And at the end of 4 innings, The Dodgers 8 runs, 8 hits, no errors. The White Sox 3 runs, 3 hits, 1 error. And Jerry Staley is coming in to pitch. By Saam, just thinking back hastily, with Chuck Dressen having been ejected, I believe that's the first man that's been ejected in World Series since the Medwick incident.
Yes, back in 1934, many of you remember the series between the Cardinals and Detroit. And in the final game, the late Judge Landis forced Joe Medwick to retire from the game. He was one of the batting stars for the Cardinals. He had returned to left field. He had had a collision at third base with Marv Owens. And the commissioner of baseball, with a barrage of vegetables and newspapers coming down, elected to take Medwick out of the game. And then, Mel, you were right, too, on the 35 series between Detroit and the Cubs, for in that one, there was a rhubarb with umpire George Moriarty. And I understand that Commissioner Landis, at the end of that one, fined Manager Grimm, Woody English, Billy Herman, and Bill Jurgis all $200 apiece. But that's the way she goes, and the White Sox are still kicking as the World Series in Chicago continues on. All right, Mel, we're ready with Roseboro batting, and back to you.
Jerry Staley in relief, into the windup, pitching. Johnny Roseboro swings and sends a high fly ball deep down the right field line, and right at the barrier, the ball is caught by Bubba Phillips as he leaped high against the right field stands. Phillips has gone to right field, and Goodman into third, and Bubba jumped high to grab the ball. It looked as if it might go in. Johnny Roseboro flies deep to right field. Billy Goodman in at third, and Phillips has shifted from third to right. Staley pitching, and here's Maury Wills, who grounded to second and singled to center. 8-3 Dodgers, 5th inning. Jerry Staley pitches. Wills takes it outside and low, ball 1. What was the announcement over the PA from the press box by the check down with the dugout? I didn't hear it. I was talking.
They said Chuck Dressen was jawing at umpire Dascoli, and Hurley told him to shut up, and then Dressen told Hurley to shut up, and that was the all. That was the end.
If he told you and I to shut up, we'd be out of a living. Here's the pitch. Swung on, hit the third. Up with it is Goodman. The throw to first in time, and Wills is out. Nice play by Billy. He was shortened up. It was a hard shot. And here comes Larry Sherry. This youngster has been sensational. 24 years old, making his 4th appearance in this World Series. Jerry Staley, all set. Here's the pitch to Sherry. He swings on it, lines it into left center for a base hit. Al Smith tosses back into Louis Aparicio. Last year, Bob Turley worked in 4 games, won 2 and lost 1, and wound up as the hero of the World Series. And Sherry is now appearing in his 4th one. He saved 2. Right now, Jim Gilliam at bat. Takes a pitch in there for a strike. 2 men away. Check to the runner. Here's the pitch. Swung on, and it's lofted out into right field. Phillips comes on and grabs it for the out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on. And at the end of 4.5 innings, the score, Dodgers 8, White Sox 3. Well, if Cheers could win the World Series, this Chicago team would have it made, but it takes performance, just like in the shaving cream field. And that's why so many of the 15 million men who use instant lathers choose Gillette Foamy. It's got the stuff. Just a touch of the nozzle releases rich, creamy lather that holds a barrel of moisture against your beard. You're ready to shave in a hurry, and that's not all. You get the protection of K34, the exclusive antiseptic that kills harmful bacteria. And Gillette Foamy saves you money. Its lather is rich and full-bodied, so a little bit goes a long way. Gillette Foamy now comes in 2 sizes. Regular at 79 cents, or the new giant size containing almost twice as much lather for only 98 cents. And Foamy with cool, refreshing menthol added is available in both sizes. Take your pick from a store near you. Larry Sherry, who'd saved 2 games and won 1, is in here in the 4th appearance for him for the Dodgers as we get ready now for the last of the 5th. And with a great deal of pleasure, I move our Gillette microphone across the way to one of the grandest guys I've ever had the privilege and pleasure of working with. Knowledgeable, exciting Byram Saam.
Well, thank you very much, Mel. And we're ready to go. As you know, the Sox are up against it. But here they are batting in the last half of the fifth inning, and Nellie Fox takes high of ball one. Johnny Padre started the game. But the kid that the country's talking about is out there now, Larry Sherry. Strike called on Nellie Fox. 1-1. He's gone to bat twice today. He flied to left, and he fouled out to the shortstop, Maury Wills, coming over back of third base. This has been an explosive game. It's featured the home run ball. But the Dodgers took off, and at one time, they led 8-0. Curve is slapped over first base. Fair ball. It's down into the corner. Foxy ought to get two. The ball hits the attendant stool down there, but Fox stays at second base. They have an attendant down there who retrieves the baseballs. He got out of the way, but that little orange box or stool that he's sitting on, it hit it. It will go down as a double. Fox has now 9 hits in this 1959 World Series. Jimmy Landis. He was hit by a pitch in the fourth inning. Luckily, he was wearing that helmet. And he had a swinging bunt earlier in the game. Strike called, a fastball. Last half of the fifth inning, it's 8-3. The White Sox are down. And this, of course, is the game that has them right up against the wall. The young Californian throws is a foul hit along the first base side on the up down that way. Hurley, a lot of attention has been focused on Ed. He came to the rescue of Dascoli of the National League. Little rhubarb developed, but as a rule, you know, the ump always comes out ahead of those. 0-2. Fox at second base with nobody out. Sherry throws. There's a loop ball to right field, not very deep. Can it be caught? Charging is Snyder. He has it. The Duke really went all out on that one, and Snyder has it for the first out. Snyder is now in right field, although he opened the game in center. Fox remains at second base. Sherm Waller, who is hitting in the cleanup spot today. He forced his teammate Landis in the first inning, a ground ball to short, and he walked in the fourth inning. He was aboard when Kluszewski let go with his third home run in this series. Sherry ready, throws. Strike call. Sharp breaking curveball. As Mel pointed out, no pitcher has started yet in this World Series and has been there at the finish. One out. The stretch by Sherry. He throws. There's a liner to center. Hit pretty well. Demeter has it. Backing off and takes it. He had the line on it, and then I thought he might let it get over his head. The wind is blowing out today. 2 gone. You'll remember earlier in the ball game, there was a ball driven over the head of a center fielder by Johnny Padre. Now Kluszewski. You'll remember when we were in Chicago to start this World Series, this fella could do no wrong. In the first game, he exploded with a couple of home runs. And they even named the street right outside the ballpark. Big Clue Drive. Ready to go. There's a bounding ball deep to first, but Hodges backs off and takes it chest high, runs up to the bag, and that is all for Kluszewski. Hodges makes it all by himself. No runs, 1 hit, a double, and 1 man left on base. Well, the score at the end of 5 innings of play. Los Angeles 8, Chicago 3.
Do you suffer from sinus or nasal congestion, other cold symptoms? Here's good news. Gillette Laboratories, who bring you Thorexin, the guided cough medicine, have now developed a guided decongestant cold capsule that speeds relief right to the nasal sinus area. It's Thorexin cold capsules. Thorexin cold capsules help drain your sinuses and clear up stuffy nose. They work fast to help shrink swollen membranes, clear clogged nasal passages, and relieve misery of sinus pressure. And besides relief from sinus congestion, Thorexin cold capsules give you quick relief from other annoying symptoms of cold. Sniffles, watery eyes, headache, fever, and muscular aches. So remember, at the first sign of cold or sinus congestion, get Thorexin cold capsules with the guided decongestant that speeds relief right to the nasal sinus area. Thorexin cold capsules.
Number 43, the second baseman, Johnny Neal.
Neal leading off, top half of the sixth inning, and Jerry Staley on the mound. Neal has contributed a single and a double. He also struck out. Staley's pitch, swing and a miss, strike one. Jerry has been, of course, the big man in the bullpen this year for the White Sox. Formerly a National Leaguer. Not exceptionally fast, but he's got a good sinker and a good knuckleball. This one is lifted foul, out of play by Neal. Strike two. Neal has pounded out 9 hits in this World Series. Fly ball, first base side, it appears to be playable. Klazuski coming just off the line. Clue has it, and it's a fair ball, according to plate umpire Des Coley. One down.
Fair ball.
They tell me that Charlie's had a heavy cold, but he hasn't said much about it. Wally Moon. Outfielder today, skied out to center, walked, and then fired a home run into the right center field section to help that 6-run explosion along. Low. Remember, at one time, the Dodgers were leading by 8-0. The score now is 8-3. He bunts. Here comes Staley over to try to pick up. He has it. He has to run to the bag, and he got him. He tagged Wally Moon in the back. Moon is going to question the call by Hurley. Here comes Austin running out of the dugout. Now that was a tough play by Staley, and while he might be one of the oldest pitchers in baseball, he streaked over and just got Wally in the back. Klazuski had moved so far away from the bag, there wasn't any help from Clue, and Staley had to do it all by himself, and what a job he did. Well, Austin just gets a few words off his chest, and he leaves. Already, Chuck Dressen, has been tossed out of the game. 2 men are gone. Duke Snyder, who is now in right field, outside. And he got the Dodgers off and running with a home run in the third inning with 1 man on. Steady. Delivers. Swing and a miss. It appeared to me that Wynn was trying to pitch Snyder high and away. But when Snyder gets a hold of him, even the best pitch you've got will disappear out of the ball yard. And of course, Duke has been a big gun. Even though he had an operation on his knee, he can still swing that bat. Here's one in front of the plate. He taps it very lightly out in front, and Lawler goes in to make the pickup and throws him out. So a very strong 6th inning for Staley. No runs, no hits, and nobody left. That's the story for the Dodgers. And the score remains L.A. 8, Chicago 3. Well, the home runs today by Duke Snyder and Wally Moon, and the home run, of course, by Klazuski. Yes, that's news to baseball fans. And here's something that's welcome news to everybody. The Gillette 195 adjustable razor. This is the one razor that adjusts to any combination of skin and beard. You simply turn a micrometer dial on the handle to get 9 different degrees of edge exposure and edge angle to fit your exact requirements. Revolve the collar one way and exposure decreases. You turn it the other way and more edge is exposed. You get the edge that you want for the shaves you want. Clean, refreshing shaves with all-out comfort, and that is guaranteed. Yes, you must agree the Gillette Adjustable gives you the finest shaves ever, or your money will be refunded. Stop in at your nearby Gillette dealer. It costs just $1.95, complete with Gillette Blue Blade dispenser and travel case.
Number 16.
Smith will be leading off.
Al Smith.
Al Smith. The White Sox now batting in the 6th. Larry Sherry, the kid, throws low and inside. Ball 1. Smitty has already drawn 2 walks. You might remember he played for Al Lopez in the '54 World Series, at that time with Cleveland.
Attention, press. In checking with...
There's the ball hopping out toward the second baseman, Neal. He's up. Charlie makes the throw to Hodges. 1 down.
President Joe Cronin, who in 1933 managed the Washington club, he said that Heine Manush was ejected from the game by umpire Moran.
Number 5, the right fielder.
Another little note coming from the president of the American League, Mr. Joe Cronin. He claims that Heine Manush, in the World Series, Cronin was running the Washington Ball Club at that time, was thrown out by umpire Moran. That goes back to 1933. Now, your batter is Bubba Phillips. We've got a strike 1 on him. Fly ball to right field, but it's up in the air very high, and Snyder will have no difficulty. He's under, and that's all for Phillips. 2 gone.
Number 6, the third baseman,
Bill Goodman. Billy came into the game as a pinch hitter and struck out in the 4th inning. Appears to me, though, that every time that Billy's been up in this series, he's been behind in the count, and he's had to go swinging at a pitch he probably otherwise wouldn't go for. Low, ball 1. 2 down, and the score from Chicago today in the World Series. Los Angeles leads 8-3. Fly ball to left center. Coming over in a hurry is Don Demeter, and he's under. He has it for the out. So 3 up, 3 down in the 6th inning for the White Sox. No runs, no hits, and nobody left on. At the end of 6, the score again is Los Angeles 8, Chicago White Sox 3.
Here are today's attendance and financial figures.
Just twist that dial and you're all set with the adjustable razor by Gillette. For shave so easy, fast and clean. So try it and see what we mean.
324.
We'll be ready to go in a moment, but some figures are coming through. I think that will be of interest to you. Mel, I think you were able to pick them up for us.
The paid attendance today, 47,653, setting a new attendance record for either a 6 or 7 game series. The previous record for 6 game series was 358,362. For 7 game series, 394,712. The total for these 6 games this year, 420,784. Bye.
Right now, here is Gil Hodges to lead off. Staley's pitch is swung on, and it's a hopper down to deep shortstop. Aparicio down on the 1 knee, throws. A perfect throw in time, and Hodges is out. Aparicio had to come well over to his right. But, of course, for the followers of American League Baseball, they're familiar with that little fellow from down in Maracaibo, Venezuela. I understand they're going to honor Aparicio when he hails or heads back home.
The old record, 1957, 2,470,000.
This is Demeter at the plate. Low, ball 1. Now, one of the reasons that the public address announcement is so loud here in Chicago is the press has been expanded, and a lot of these boys are sitting down in the stands. Staley throws as a bounding single. That ball is going to go right through the middle, and Demeter has come up with a hit. He entered the game as a runner for Locker in the 4th. The Dodgers scored 6 times and had 10 batters come up in that 4th inning. Johnny Roseboro.
The National League share, $335,140.58. 335-140-58.
Roseboro hits the first pitch into right field fairly deep. Over is Phillips, and Bubba is under for the out. In right center, he takes it. 2 gone.
$335,140.62.
a shortstop, Maury Wells.
335-140-62. The Dodgers share.
Maury Wells stepping in. Maury has 1 hit today, and I think it's interesting to note, outside of 1 game, this young shortstop has been hitting safely in all games. Close play at first base. Clou thought he had him on a tag. That's Demeter running at first. All right, a swing and a miss. There goes a runner. The throw. It's a beauty. Aparicio is covering, and they have Demeter out at second base. And that's the final out in the seventh inning. No runs, one hit, and nobody left on base. The score, Los Angeles 8, Chicago White Sox 3. Well, there have been many outstanding plays in this series, and that throw by Sherm Lawler is just another. A beautiful thing to watch with a runner caught sliding in at second base. And that's what makes a standout player, the ability to come up with a big play when you need it. You all know the star of the Gillette team by now, I'm sure, that sensational 195 adjustable razor. It, too, delivers every time. Clean, refreshing shaves, by far the most comfortable that you've ever had. You see, you adjust this razor to get the kind of shaves that you want when you want them. So the results are the same whether you have a light beard, heavy beard, tender skin, no matter what combination. And it's so easy. A simple turn of the micrometer dial on the handle lets you set the razor. This dial has 9 different numbers, each indicating a different degree of edge exposure and angle. The lower numbers expose less blade edge. The higher numbers increase exposure. Priced at only $195, the Gillette Adjustable is sold on our guarantee of complete satisfaction or your money back. See it at a store near you.
For the White Sox, number 20, John Romano. Batting for Davis.
Well, what do you know? We've got Johnny Romano coming up to bat. A young catcher. He has tremendous power. And I know this is a very exciting moment for him. He is now batting for Staley. Romano, of course, has been overshadowed by Sherm Lawler. They have another catcher by the name of Earl Batty. He hit .301, though, on the season. And many of those hits came in emergencies like this. Sherry pitches. There's a hopper down to shortstop. The pickup is made by Wills. It's a high, wide throw, but Hodges stays with it and has it for the out. Romano is out.
Number 11, Louis
Aparicio coming up. They've got Billy Pierce, I notice, warming up in the Chicago bullpen. Aparicio is 0 for 3 today. He had a big chance in that fourth inning. Sox started to go. Here's a base hit for him. He lines one over the third baseman's head. A single to left for Aparicio. You know, these White Sox, they had to scramble and scratch for all of their victories during the season. That's how they won the pennant. And you can never count them out. Nellie Fox steps up. Second baseman. Last time around, he doubled to right field. 5 hits for the White Sox. Strike called. He ran up on that pitch and then took it. 0-1. One man out. There's a ball looped to the left, and it's going to go foul. It's into the stands. I don't know what Mel and I could do without the World Series book that's put out by G.J. Taylor Spink. But I know one thing, we're really putting it to use. Well, there are many, many records that are being broken. The whole country is talking about this fireballing right-hander, Larry Sherry. He's set to go. He whips to the plate at an inside pitch. Backing off Fox. 1-2. Alston, at the same time, has Lefty McDevitt warming up. Fox hits one to left field, but up comes the left fielder waiting. Wally Moen, he has it, although the ball was well tagged. 2 men are gone.
Number 1, the center fielder, Jim Landis.
Young outfielder. He's always been noted as a great star defensively, and he has certainly developed as a hitter. Today, 1 hit. He was hit by a pitch. The last time up, he flied to right. 2-0, ball 1. Yes, the 6th game of the World Series in Chicago. The Dodgers trying to clinch the championship of the world today. and they're leading 8-3. There's a ball to right to third baseman Junior Gilliam. He goes to second base, and they got an easy force on Aparicio. That's the final out here in the seventh inning for the Sox. No runs, one hit, and one man left on base. Score again. Los Angeles 8, Chicago 3. New pitcher coming on for the Sox. Left-hander Bill Pierce. Billy has already participated in 3 games, all in relief. Actually 2 games, and he's worked 3 innings. Jerry Staley worked 3 terrific innings. He allowed 2 hits, no runs. L.A. got to early win in the 3rd inning. Home run by Duke Snyder scored the first 2 runs, and then Wynn was driven to cover in the 4th inning. The Dodgers came up with 6 runs in the 4th inning today, and at one time held an 8-0 lead. Billy Pierce. He was in the 5th game at the Coliseum, although he just pitched to 1 man. But the day before that, he did a relief chore, and across 3 innings, gave up no hits and no runs. Maury Wills, a switch hitter, will now come around in that right-handed. Pierce ready. The pitch is swung on. There's a ground ball to first. The pickup is made by Klazuski. He's over to the bag, and that's all for Wills. 1 gone. It is very cloudy now in Chicago, and there is a chance of rain and thunder showers. I think that's the way the weatherman put it today. Pitcher Larry Sherry. Regardless of how the Dodgers fare in this World Series, this fella has got to be one of their biggest items. Several writers wanted to get a hold of him even before the game today to get feature stories. Well, we're ready to go. He hammers a ball deep past third. Goodman couldn't get it. It's a base hit. And Larry Sherry comes through with his 2nd straight hit. Not only does he pitch, but he hits as well.
Number 19.
He's a natural because he makes his home in Los Angeles, and he attended Fairfax High School. Jim Gilliam. The steady 3rd baseman of this L.A. team swings a strike. Jim has already come up with 2 stolen bases in this series, and he usually gets more than his share of walks. He's batting right-handed. Pierce throws. There's a well-hit ball to left, but it's going directly to Al Smith, and he bags it for the out. 2 gone. Second baseman, Charlie Neal. Single to center, he struck out. He doubled to right center, and he popped out to first baseman Ted Klazuski. This is quite a ball player, this Charlie Neal. Swinging, strike 1. 2 RBIs today, 6 in the World Series. And he was a leader in that first victory for L.A. the last time we were in this ballpark. He had 2 home runs, you know. Swinging, strike 2. One of them was to left, and one of them he hit into the bullpen in left center, and Billy Pierce, who is now pitching, caught the ball. Maybe you had a chance to see the pictures of that one. There's a ball to right field. It's going to be a hit. Sherry got a late start. He's only going to get to second base, and the ball scooped up by Bubba Phillips. Mel tells me there's a light rain now starting to fall. Light rain falling here in Chicago.
Number 9.
2 on.
The left fielder, Wally Moon.
Outfielder, Wally Moon. Two gone. 2 on. Action in the top half of the 8th. Swinging, strike 1. this fella hit a home run the first time he ever came to bat in the major leagues. And he's been a bright star ever since that time, 1954. Swinging, strike two. Yes, looking out into the crowd now, especially in those deluxe box seats, you can see slickers and rain jackets, umbrellas coming out. Here's throws. All right, that's all for Wally Moe. He's out on strikes, and it's no runs, a pair of hits, 2 left on. And we have now come to the middle half of the 8th inning, and the Dodgers remain out front, 8-3. Well, fans, anything can happen in this 6th game of the World Series, and it won't be long before we know what's going to take place, whether we'll be back for a deciding game tomorrow. Whatever it is, I want to tell you what a marvelous thrill it has been for me to do these ball games, and also to tell you fans all about that Gillette 195 adjustable razor. It's a remarkable shaving instrument, all right, by far the finest ever invented. Now, what else can I say? This I do know, until you try it, you just can't know how clean and comfortable a shave can be. And it's so simple. All you do is turn a micrometer dial on the handle to get 9 different degrees of edge exposure and edge angle to fit your exact requirements. Revolve the collar one way, exposure decreases. You turn it the other way, more edge is exposed. You get the edge that you want for the shaves you want, and that is guaranteed. Yes, you must believe the Gillette Adjustable gives you the finest shaves ever, or your money will be refunded. Stop in at your nearby Gillette dealer. Pick up the razor. It costs just $1.95, complete with Gillette Blue Blade dispenser and travel case.
Ties a record for most hits by any Dodger.
Attention, press. A vote for the White Sox dugout. Billy
Number 10, the catcher, Sherman Lawler.
Sherman Lawler leading off here in the home half of the 8th inning. Low, ball one.
In the month of August, and he is being removed from the game. A new White Sox pitcher will work next inning.
Little note on Billy Pierce we'll pick up for you. Larry Sherry is the big noise now for the Dodgers all, and here comes a strike. 1-1. Lawler leading off. He is 0 for 2. He did get a walk. Fly ball, well hit to left center field. Dividend coming over. He's got the room, and he has it for the first out. 1 away. We understand that Billy Pierce re-injured his side. You might remember he had trouble during the regular season. So there will be another pitcher coming on for the Sox. Now Kluszewski. He accounted for the 3 runs that the Sox have scored. With 2 out and 2 on in the 4th inning, he stepped up with a count 1-2 against Padres, and he unloaded with a terrific home run into the upper deck in right field. 2 low, ball 1. Klu has 8 hits in this series, and 3 of them have been home runs. All of them hit in this park. Dutcher, right-hander, throws, and Klu swings so hard he hits a foul right down on his foot. He spins around, and there's 240 pounds a man going down into a sitting position. His cap almost came off, but he's okay. Over 47,000 are looking on in the 6th game of the World Series. Ray Moore tuning up in the White Sox bullpen. Ray Moore. Now, Klu's right ankle and instep is really hurting. He's backed out of there, and he's not quite ready to go. Swing, sends a long fly to left. That ball is going to go into the corner. It's going to be extra bases for Klu. It hits the wall. Moon makes the pickup, and it's a stand-up double for the mighty Ted Kluszewski. What a series he's having. Klu has already batted in 10 runs in 6 games of World Series competition for a record. Outfielder Al Smith. Of course, that's what the White Sox fans are hollering for. They need the long ball. They need hits. Low, ball one. But that number 51 out there, Sherry, he has really been something in this series, hasn't he? Gets his side. He throws. It is low and inside. Ball two. The Dodgers lead 8-3. Last half of the eighth. Raj Craig is warming up for the Californians. Also Danny McDevitt. Smith has walked twice and bounced out to second baseman Neal. Strike call. 2-1. Cloudy and overcast, light rain, although it appears to me it has stopped at the moment. Here it is. Outside, high, good eye. He took that one. 3-1. Smith has come up with 5 hits in the series, and the first 3 were doubles. You might remember those first hits. They were 2 base blows. Most of them were directed out to left center in this ballpark. Teammate Kluszewski, not paying much attention to him. He's at second base. Smitty hits a ball to third base. Gilliam has it. He holds Kluszewski. Across the diamond he goes, and that is all for Smith. He's out, third to first. 2 away.
Number 5.
John
The right fielder.
Bubba Phillips.
Bubba Phillips.
Started the game at third base. Now they've got him in right field. 1 for 3 for Bubba, a single to left field. And that came off Larry Sherry, the end of the ball game in the fourth. Swinging, strike one. Larry Sherry, if he stays in this game, and the Dodgers should go on to win it, of course, he could be ruled the winning pitcher. Padres only worked 3 1/3 innings. Stretch move. Pitch. There's the ball hammered right to the mound. Sherry has it. He can do no wrong. He's up, throws, and that's the final out. Pitcher to first. Phillips is out. And for the Sox in the eighth, no runs, a double for Kluszewski, and 1 man left on base. At the end of 8 innings, full, the score reads: the Dodgers 8, the White Sox 3.
That dial, no like that, with the adjustable razor by Gillette. The shave so easy, fast and clean. So try it and see what I mean.
The lights are being turned on at Comiskey Park. It's very cloudy. You can see those very ominous clouds rolling overhead, although I don't believe it's raining at the moment. Now, here's a strange one. We announced that Pierce was having trouble with his side, and he's out here warming up. One of the boys hurried out to the bullpen. Moore continues to warm up, and even Al Lopez seems to be a little bit concerned about it. He comes out, and he's talking with Pierce, and Pierce is not going to be allowed to stay in the game, although he did come out. Well, it kind of put us in a little haze here for the moment.
Well, actually, Ray Moore, as you were talking, came out of the bullpen and had walked 20, 30 feet from center field toward the mound. And then he turned around and went back. The announcement, of course, was correct. It came from Ed Short of the White Sox that Pierce had re-hurt his side, and Apparently, Billy wanted to try it. He wanted to stay in there.
Billy Pierce left the game due to an injury.
They're announcing about Billy Pierce because of an injury leaving the game, and there will be a little time for Moore now to slowly move in from center field.
For the White Sox, number 29,
Ray Moore is being announced as the new pitcher.
Ray Moore.
Hails from down in Maryland, and at one time was in the Dodger organization. He played with Brooklyn in 1952 and also in 1953. He was only around for a short while. Ray Moore. He came to Chicago from the Baltimore Orioles. He had 3 fine years. He won 10 games. In 55, he won 12, and then he won 11. Moore, and this will be his first appearance in a World Series. So we've had Early Wynn, Dick Donovan, Turk Lowndes, Jerry Staley, Bill Pierce, and now Ray Moore.
653. The total for the
We're going to get Chuck Asijan as a pinch hitter.
784.
Now, the last time we saw Chuck come up as a pinch hitter in this ballpark,
Thank you.
he cracked out a home run, and it led the Dodgers on to their first victory in this World Series. Big husky Californian, right-handed batter. There goes a long poke to left. Smith is back. He's near the wall, and there's another home run for Chuck Asijan. And as far as I know, Mel, it's the first time an individual has hit 2 home runs in World Series competition as a pinch hitter.
That's absolutely right, Byram Saam. Yogi Berra first did it in 1947, Johnny Mize in 52, George Schuba with the Dodgers in 53, Dusty Rhodes with the Giants in 54, Hank Majeski with the Indians in 54, Bob Cerv with the Yankees in 55, and Asijan in this series in the second game, and he's the only one ever to do it twice, 2 pinch hit homers.
Well, that's quite a record. Chuck Asijan, a boy who played football at Stanford only a few years ago. Now this is Gil Hodges. Ball 1 is served up. The score now is 9-3. The Dodgers are getting closer. Hard a bounding ball to deep shortstop. Aparicio backhands and throws in time. Fine play by Louis Aparicio. And that's all for Gil Hodges. 1 gone. We're in the 9th inning. Asijan's drive was more toward left field and into the lower deck. The one he hit here the other day was even further out. Demeter at the plate. Tall, skinny, right-handed batter. Strike 1. Well, the White Sox now have Bob Shaw tuning up. He swings. He tried to get away from that pitch high inside, but umpire Des Scully says he went around. Strike 2. Of course, the Sox had visions of being here tomorrow, and they still might be, but Shaw was their hope if there was to be a 7th game. He is now warming up. 9-3, the Dodgers lead. Moore cuts loose. Foul. Hit up into the press row. We're at Comiskey Park today. And you could tell early in the game that the Dodgers were going to be a tough unit to handle. Here's a swing and a miss. He went for a pitch low inside. He's out. And a strikeout for Ray Moore. 2 gone. Snyder hit a home run in the 3rd with 1 on. That broke the 0-0 game. And then the Dodgers came on with a riotous 4th inning, and they scored 6 times. They were leading at one stage 8-0. Johnny Roseborough. Outside and high, ball 1. Ups high, a bit high, ball 2. 9 runs and 13 hits and no errors. That's the story for the Dodgers so far. The White Sox 3 runs, 6 hits, and 1 error. Roseboro has no hits today, but he sent the right fielder Bubba Phillips up to the wall in the fifth. Up fly. Lawler coming back, has room, and catcher Lawler is under, and that's all for Johnny Roseboro. 1 run on a homer by Chuck Osesian. 1 hit, nobody left on. Well, the last chance coming up for the White Sox. The score again is Los Angeles 9, the White Sox 3. Now against Larry Sherry, leading off.
Los Angeles, number 8.
The White Sox sending up Bill Goodman.
Right fielder,
Ron Fairley is in right field. Ron Fairley. Osesian came on to bat for Snyder, and now Fairley, a terrific young prospect in the Dodger organization, is in right. Larry Sherry has been to the game since the 4th inning.
number 6, the third baseman, Bill Goodman.
Here we go, Billy Goodman. Bill came on as a pinch hitter, struck out, stayed in the ball game, and flied to center. Low and outside a ball went. Here it is. High, outside, ball 2. This is a very, very beautiful ballpark. It's 352 feet down each line. And as I mentioned, the lights are on. Goodman, rather frail, left-handed swinger, takes high and outside, ball 3. Billy knows that strike zone, though. He claims he got a lot of early batting tips from Ted Williams and his early playing days with the Boston Red Sox. He's trying to get something started with the Sox. Strike call. 3-1. Here's strike 2 call. Kid Sherry seems to have all of the boxing in the world. And while these are World Series games, and the pressure is on, it doesn't seem to bother him. There's a broken bat and a ground ball to the mound, and Larry Sherry throws him out. And I'm not kidding you, the heavy end of Billy Goodman's bat went on past the Dodger dugout.
For the White Sox, number 38, Norm Cash.
Breaks it right in 2. He's out. Pitcher to first, 1 gone. Norm Cash is coming out as a pinch hitter for Moore. Norman Cash, C-A-S-H. This will be the 4th time he's been used. Strike 1, call. Still looking for his first hit in World Series competition. Law. He was a very valuable asset, though, to the White Sox during the season. Played at first base on occasions, but was principally a pinch hitter. Light rain starting to fall again. 1 out. Nobody on. Cash, a left-handed batter, takes outside in Law. 2-1. 9-3. The Dodgers lead. The Dodgers getting ever so close. This could be the final game of the series. Larry Sherry, the California kid, throws, and it's a foul. A half swing and a foul on a play. 2-2. The White Sox got all 3 runs in the 4th inning on one mighty stroke of the bat by Ted Kluszewski. Homer came with 2 on and 2 out. Sherry pumps. Here's a ball well hit to center, but it's going right to Demeter, and the Hawk has it. 2 gone. Louis Aparicio is the last bit of hope for the White Sox. Now, Louie has 1 for 4 today. Single to left his last time up. Sherry throws. Foul off the end of the bat. Strike 1. Sherry asking Roseberry to give him another sign. Into action he throws. Low inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. This has been a tremendous series in many respects. The umpiring has been tremendous. Both teams have been helped up. And as you know, it's been well attended. I'll never forget those 3 games in Los Angeles and what crowds. Low. Ball 2. And right here we have the White Sox in their last stand. 2 men are gone and nobody on. Score again is 9-3. The pitch. Fly ball, left center. This might be it. Backing off is a shortstop. Wally Moon is going to get it. Moon is under, and that's it. The Dodgers are the champions of the world. The Dodgers, for the second time in 10 World Series meetings against American League competition, have come on to win. And are they a happy gang as they run out to pat Larry Sherry, the winner, on the back. No runs, no hits, nobody left on. The final score, Los Angeles 9. The Chicago White Sox 3. Final again, L.A. 9 runs, 13 hits and no errors. Chicago 3 runs, 6 hits, and 1 error. And now stay tuned in for an interview direct from the clubhouse of the victorious Los Angeles Dodgers.
White rain, use new white rain shampoo tonight, and tomorrow your hair will be sunshine bright. White rain.
The Brooklyn Dodgers are champions of the world for the second time in 10 World Series. And young Larry Sherry, 24 years old, wins his second game. He appeared in 4, 2 short of the record. Hugh Casey with the Dodgers in 47 appeared in 6 World Series games as a relief pitcher. And the young Larry Sherry certainly emerges as a hero as we try to pick out one man perhaps from all. There are many who are heroes. But the Dodgers are champions, and the White Sox, who gallantly fought back, lose their second effort at a world title. They have won 2. And the losing pitcher was Early Wynn. This program was produced by Johnny Earp. Our engineer is Don Fitch. And it was rather warming to see the crowd applaud the Dodgers as they left the field. And now to wind up this World Series broadcast, let's pick up Vince Scully and some of those victorious Los Angeles Dodgers. Vince, take over.
Vince? Go ahead, Vince. This is Vince Scully welcoming you to the joyous and almost riotous Dodger dressing room, where for the first time in history, a ball club that was 7th the year before came back to win the World's Championship. It has never happened before. And to congratulate the manager of the champion Los Angeles Dodgers, here is Walter Alston. Walter, congratulations on your second World's Championship.
Thank you, Ben. I don't know what you've been saying, but thanks anyway.
It's a little bit loud. Walter, in the ball game, you got an 8-run lead, and suddenly Padres got in trouble. Were you really worried about that lead?
Well, Padres, as you know, was pitching everything high, and he got a little wild there, and I knew that Sherry was all right. The word came back that Sherry was good in the bullpen, and of course they got all those right-hand hitters in there. I didn't want them to get a big inning going. They only got 1 out, and I just had a lot of confidence in Sherry, and he did a wonderful job for me.
Thank you very much, Walter Alston. Congratulations on your second World's Championship.
Thank you, Ben.
Walter Alston, ladies and gentlemen. Now, to our left, the Commissioner of Baseball, Ford Frick. And, Commissioner?
It's glad to see you.
It's nice to have you with us, sir, and congratulations on a wonderful series.
Well, it was a terrific series. I don't think anybody can find much fault with that one.
I would guess that the Commissioner, as well as everybody else involved, is just as relieved when a series is over.
Oh, I should say so. I'm ready to go home.
Thank you, sir, very much. Mr. Warren Giles, the president of the National League. Mr. Giles, your league has come out on top.
Yes, sir, it's great. The White Sox were a game ball club. I just saw Walter O'Malley, and he's sorry he can't get in here because he says it's a team victory and he didn't want to share in the spotlight. He was only sorry that Buzzy Bavesi and Fresco couldn't be here.
Well, thank you, sir, and congratulations.
They're a fine ball club, and Walter did an excellent job. Wonderful.
Thank you, Mr. Warren Giles.
Mr. Bill Veck of the Chicago White Sox.
Young man. I congratulate you, too.
Bill, that was quite a series, and of course, there's nothing for either club to be ashamed of.
We went as far as we could go. They just beat us.
Was there any particular point in this series that you would figure could be the turning point against the White Sox?
Well, of course, you can always replay them, but today there was no place no way to figure them out differently, so they just out-hit us and out-pitched us today and beat us. No alibis. We've had a fine year. Our ball club has done, I think, extremely well, and certainly our manager has done one of the fine jobs of all time. So I can only say it's been a good year. We're sorry we lost. They were better than us, and they beat us.
Well, thank you very much. Bill Veck of the Chicago White Sox. A fellow a couple of years ago, here's Gil Hodges of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
I don't know what I'm doing here, but they pushed me up, and it's really nice being here.
Well, Gil, you were on the Championship Club of 1955, and you're on the Championship Club of 1959. Do you think you remember this one longer?
I think so, Vinny, because it came a lot sooner. You know, we were just out in L.A. This is our second year, and we won a World Series already, and it took us umpteen years, up till 1955, to win a World Series for Brooklyn. It's really, I just don't know what to say. It's really a great, great feeling.
Well, it must be a great moment for you because after a bad 52 series, you had the honor of driving in the only 2 runs in the championship game in 55, and you were swinging a pretty mean bat in this series.
Well, I felt very good in this series, Vinny, and I might say that it's just a wonderful ball club that we've had all year this year. It's a battling ball club. We've had great spirit, and to win the pennant, to win the playoff, and come ahead and win a World Series, you can't get any better than that.
No, it's the first time in history a club has come from 7th place the year before to win the championship the following year. So congratulations.
Thank you very much, Vinny.
And leave it to the Dodgers to do it.
Yes, that's for sure.
Thank you, Gil Hodges. Duke Snyder, who perhaps started all the barrage with that 2-run home run. And Duke, that must have really felt good after being idle for most of the series with a bad knee.
Well, I'll tell you, Vinny, there's nothing felt any sweeter to see that ball sail out there and go into the stands because I didn't feel that I could hit a ball that far the way that my knee was, but I just wanted to play and try and get in there and help the ball club win this final game, and it was the biggest thrill, I think, of my life.
Well, Duke, that was your 11th home run in World Series competition. You and Mickey Mantle are tied for second behind Babe Ruth's 15, so you still have a chance.
So with the skirt on this ball club, we'll have a chance next year, Vinny.
Thank you very much, Duke Snyder, and our heartiest congratulations. I'd like you to introduce now the president of the American League, Mr. Joe Cronin. Mr. Cronin, sir?
Good. Certainly want to congratulate the Dodgers. They've been a great, great team. It's a wonderful series, and let's hope the American League can get them next year.
I imagine, as we asked Commissioner Frick, that you, along with all the other baseball people, must be relieved that a World Series is over with. It must be quite a strain.
Oh, no, it's wonderful. We like this kind of strain, this kind of pressure. But I do want to compliment Walter Alston, and I think he had a fine ball club. Great infield. That infield played superbly. And I think they're a great ball club. The White Sox lost to a real good team.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Joe Cronin, president of the American League. And here on my right is Charlie Neal of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Charlie, you weigh somewhere around 155 pounds. You told me before the game that you had a bit of the flu, yet you came up with 3 base hits.
Well, I know I felt real bad about the flu, but I know I had to go out and try to give my best, try to win this game, and so to go back to L.A.
I imagine this would be more than just a dream come true for you to be on a championship club. You were not with the club when they won the World Championship in 55.
No, I was with them in 56, and we lost. I never did think I'd be on a World Championship.
Well, welcome to the club.
Thank you.
Our special guest, Charlie Neal of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Another of the many storied heroes on the Dodger Ball Club. For the second time, Roger Craig has been called up from the minors in June to help pitch the Dodgers to a championship. Roger, it seems that you're a good luck omen for Los Angeles.
Well, I hope from now I don't have to go to the minor league. I hope I can stay here next year and help them win it again. We've got a real good ball club. Everybody did a wonderful job. I don't think it's really one guy outstanding all during the year. Everybody pitched in and just did a real good job.
Roger, when you were warming up in the bullpen, did you take a look at Sherry, and did you wonder if you might have to come in?
Well, no, I knew Larry would get him out. He was going real good, just like he has all year, and I knew he'd get him out. With that 5-run lead, though, you've got to be careful and just in case, and I was ready to go. So
boy, they're going to be singing in North Carolina.
They sure are.
Thank you very much, Roger Craig. Don Drysdale, who today was in the bullpen in deep right center. Don, you're wringing wet. What's going on?
Well, I had some stuff spilled over me, Vinny.
Stuff spilled over you, and I can tell what it is. Don, this is a big thrill for you, I'm sure, to be on a championship ball club, and since you're a boy from Los Angeles, why, that seems to put the icing on the cake.
Well, it really does, Vinny. I was on the pennant winner in 56, but there's nothing like being on a world championship club.
Do you think the ball club was worried after they lost that 1-0 ball game the other day?
I definitely do not, Vinny. I think that a big thing that kept us going was all the comments that the White Sox come out with in the papers. I mean, different things that we read all over the Chicago papers, and I know that there was just a little bit to make us go just a little bit harder.
Well, congratulations, Don Drysdale, as a member of the world champion Los Angeles Dodgers.
Thank you very much, Vinny.
And friends, I hope you've enjoyed our chat with the world champion Los Angeles Dodgers. Well, friends, the series is over, but the cavalcade of sports carries on. Every Friday night, Gillette airs the major boxing bout of the week. So plan to tune in and enjoy the excitement. And now this is Vin Scully saying smooth sailing, smooth shaving, and so long from your host, the Gillette Safety Razor Company.